Inflation, super bubbles, and how to survive them. This is what I'm going to cover in this video. I've been researching all weekend. I'm a data scientist here in Silicon Valley with the Professor Meatball sleeping in the corner, and we're going to talk to you about how to survive a potential crash incoming. We're going to also talk to you about how to survive Monday as AMC and GME are having a ridiculous amount of in-the-money calls that are going to be exercised. Both Monday and Tuesday are going to be major players in what we are going to watch as $1 million of in-the-money calls are now under scrutiny for AMC. Let's take a look at what Jeremy Grantham said. There's a crash. Here's a regression study on S&P 500 log chart. By the way, if you guys like the data, if you guys like this video, make sure to drop a like to defeat the algorithm, get more investors in this video, and then, hey, we could just go together and win a raffle. So if you guys want to comment down below which like you are, let's get it up to 1,200, and I'll pick one of you in the next live stream to win something. Hey, Grantham has already said, this is in the last video, we talked about owning resources for inflation protection, holding some gold and silver, and raising cash to deploy when prices are again attractive. So I've been researching all weekend for this stock. Let me take you back. I'm just gonna take you back briefly to when the markets were already at its lowest point in 2020, March 13th. That time, a tiny $4 million company was trading for 27 cents. Seemed like the world was over and businesses around the globe won't survive another global shutdown. But one entrepreneur, he slept in the car, right? He traveled on holidays, never complained about treacherous roads ahead, and was already coming up with ways to rebound fast from lockdowns. By June 5th, just 90 days later, I've researched his company share price doubled. Then on July 24th, it quadrupled, or after already doubling. In other words, from mid-March to mid-July, the share price surged over 27 cents to $2.37. Then in February 2021, it exploded to a high of over $5 a share for a whopping 2,000% return. Based on my research as to what can happen in 2022 and how this company's immediate future is interwoven with the fate of a 100-year town and its labor force, I'm going to talk to you guys about seeing a remarkable chance with Callinex Mines. Okay. Even the Grantham himself said, right, gold and silver. So that's what I wanted to focus on for this video. If you guys want to see some AMC, I'm going to talk about it. Make sure that you guys stick through the end of the video. AMC and GME for Monday, like we just said, in the money calls are going to be a huge part of the story. But I wanted to be able to give you what Grantham said you guys need. So let me tell you the story. Making miraculous moves as high as 2,000% in 2 years is literally nuts. It owns mineral deposits in Canada, but not just anywhere in Canada. Their project in Manitoba called Pine Bay saw a massive high-grade discovery in 2021 called Rainbow. In the town of Flin Flon, where over 5,500 reside, 785 people work for the 777 mine, which has been in operation for over a century. But it is depleted and will close in 1 year unless Callinex advances Pine Bay into development and subsequently production. So, close your eyes, think of the owner of the 777 mine who is looking at reclamation costs, expenses to shut down a mine, in the neighborhood of tens of millions of dollars, if not more, and think about the town city hall and their incentives. Callinex owns a strategic deposit, and because of the lockdowns, they have not received back many drill results, the same kind which last year sent the stock up by over 150%. So in other words, the emphasis here is timing aspect, okay? It is literally pending news that is imminent, and that's the reason I'm releasing this today. All right, it's about timing. Callinex Mines is the sponsor of today's video production, and they wanted to reach out and to the retail public and explain their story. Their CEO doesn't have a second to do roadshows or appear on CNBC. He's busy in the field and wants to get the word out and wants to make sure Wall Street tycoons don't hear about this before we do. Callinex Mines projects contain mainly copper and also zinc, silver, and gold. Go right back to Mr. Grantham. Boom. Right there, okay? These are the type of commodities that surge in pricing, especially during inflationary times. Inflation jumped 6.2% in October and a shocking 6.8% in November. Take a look at this, okay? The most recent inflation rate print as the highest since June of 1982. Believe it or not, in other words, Americans got hit with inflation across the board and on the products they need the most. Shockingly, excluding food and energy, inflation went up 4.9% from 4.6%. That's the highest since June of 1999. 1991, my god. Copper is a material for the green revolution, which includes electric vehicles and charging stations and renewable energy sources, such as wind and solar. Demand for copper from efforts to decarbonize will intensify, with JP Morgan forecasting that it will account for more than 40% of overall demand growth next year in a 25 million metric ton market. JP Morgan also forecasts that the total copper demand for the clean energy transition will increase from 1.8 million metric tons this year to more than 3 million metric tons by 2025. Electric vehicle charging stations require substantial amounts of carbon. It's pretty clear, okay? This is just news. It's news. As IMF pointed out recently, under a net zero scenario, current copper, lithium, and platinum supplies also are inadequate to satisfy future needs, with a 30% to 40% gap versus demand. So this is just in a net zero scenario, but take a look at China. Okay, the catalyst and potential upside remind me of biotech companies before FDA approval. You need to research Calinex Mines. In my opinion, the best way to look at it is the website cnxnews.com, which contains information about the projects, the management team, and of course CEO Max Porterfield, along with his family, owns over $5 million in the stock and is definitely all in. Take a look at this. So this is just some simple graphics that I found of the way that the stock is moving, and right now seems like it is a potential point where people might want to jump in. However, I am not a financial advisor. I'm definitely not your financial advisor. If you guys are worried about a crash, stay tuned. Make sure you guys have subscribed. Let's talk about what we are expecting for Monday. AMC, 46,122 calls in the money. Now that was a opportunity that could have brought us over 700,000 calls in the money. However, we know that there are some calls that just got added on Friday that are obviously in the money. These are $990,000 worth of calls at 50-cent strike. Now, we've been watching this stock for a long time. I don't think I've ever seen a suspicious call quite as suspicious as this. Someone is putting $1 million of their own money to either do a married put or these deep in the money calls. It's easier to be able to transition these and continue cycling FTDs, which we've talked about on the channel. If you guys are ever confused about any specific terminology, make sure that you guys have already followed on Instagram and Twitter and ask me questions on the metaverse. Hey guys, I want you guys to know that when Monday and Tuesday rolls around, both GME and AMC have a remarkable amount of in the money calls. Let's take a look at next week, 288 compared to 8,000 already in the money. So we fought hard for the AMC and GME potential rise up. We already talked about visually what could happen in a margin call squeeze as the entire market boils down and everyone loses their lunch. The hedge funds have the most to lose. If you guys like this video, like I said, make sure to slap that like, and I will see you guys very soon in a future video. Thanks so much. Thank Professor Meatball, and we'll see you guys in the money.